Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with the review of the Jakks Pacific Silver the Hedgehog. Yes, we are getting relatively obscure characters out now. Now, to save on the shipping costs, I asked Zach to remove the figures from their original packaging so that he could ship them in a smaller and lighter box for me to save on shipping. But I did ask him to include the card for Silver so that we could actually see the Wave preview. I probably should have done this with the Omega figure, but you know, it is Silver's card, and I wanted to do Omega first because I knew you guys would want to see that better. So here's Silver's card. His bio is a mysterious herald from the future. So that's still his backstory. Silver's still a herald from the future. Now, I really wish that they would explain a little bit more about how Silver is able to time travel or what he actually is doing. I think it's because of how poorly received Sonic 2006 was. Like, Sega's mandate is just like, we like this character, but we kind of want to distance ourselves from the history that is his true origin. So let's just try to keep it ambiguous for now until it's really, really necessary. Sorry about that jump cut, the phone started ringing. So yes, in this wave we have Tails and Sonic re-releases, Tails with a signpost marker, and Sonic with an invincibility item. Silver has the red ring, which is kind of cool because now you can actually get the red ring without having to buy the Studiopolis playset. And here it is, by the way, in all of its red ring glory. Come on, there we go. Very sharp sculpt, very nice. Has a hole in the bottom so you can put it on the displays. So yeah, red ring. Collect a ridiculous amount of these to unlock cool bonuses like being able to play as Super Sonic and stuff like that. And then of course there was Omega. So we're back to the traditional 2 new figures and 2 repeats in a wave. But again, like I said at the end of the Omega video, I think the reason the wave before this and the wave after this have only 1 figure each is because it was probably much more expensive to tool this guy. That is my theory. So next time we get a larger or more complex figure that's going to need more parts, I'm predicting that we're going to see more waves like that in the future. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's actually take a look at Silver the Hedgehog himself. I know at the beginning of the video you saw him tip over, but he's actually a pretty solid stander. It's just that this review stage is a chair, which is soft cushion, and you know, like, the figure had a hard time standing on that. So I put his card here to be a more solid base, so he should not be falling over. See? Very stable figure. Now, Silver is one of those characters that we got a preview of in the 2.5-inch wave when he had a 2.5-inch figure release beforehand. But now that he's in the proper 4-inch scale, we can see all his true glory. Now, I still think that it's kind of weird the way the character's arms bend this way, like their elbows go towards their bodies rather than forward the way you would expect an elbow to do. But he still has the universal shoulders and the ball-jointed wrists, which allow him a slight bit of gesticulation in addition to just, being held up. Now, there is an issue, like all that floof built around his collar can make it hard to turn his head because it clashes. They could have done something down here to make some room so that it could turn over the floof, but I guess they were afraid that would make his head look weird. But given the poses that his hands are in, he actually can do some it's no use posing with his the thing he has. He also has his mouth, like, it's done in that serious line expression. So, you know, we don't have some jovial laughing Silver. I guess when you spend 90% of your time living in a post-apocalyptic future, that kind of thing just doesn't happen all that often. Although, like, this is where I wish that this arm bent forwards instead of in like this, because his like clenched hand just looks kind of awkward when you put it up. Like, it can be a little bit awkward to get his hands in a proper position where it looks like a proper gesticulation. This is why I like the Jazzwares figure that had elbow joints, because, you know, with Silver's psychokinesis, like his arms are actually a pretty big part of his posability. I also noticed his tail seems to be longer than other Hedgehog tails. I guess, you know, not everyone looks the same. The legs are built the same as any other Sonic figure's legs. He has a universal pin disc for his hip joint. Like with every character except Amy Rose, the pin goes up into the body rather than sideways, so, you know, it can kick forward, but it has to go out to the side that way. Fortunately, he still has a knee that can bend 90 degrees, and it has a swivel there. Like, this is how Omega's knee should have swiveled. Yep. And then underneath that, he has a ball joint in the ankle, so you can make sure that his feet are flat on the ground even when he's in an action-oriented pose. So the figure is much easier to stand. The paint job, pretty darn good. They captured his light gray. It's hard to tell on camera, but his grayness actually has a very light green tint to it, which is accurate. It looks just like the game models. He has his yellow eyes and his mascara. The ring detailing on his glove is only painted on. It isn't sculpted in like it was on the Jazzwares figure. Although I guess for customizing this would help in that if I wanted to make a different character, all I would have to do is take a little bit of acetone to wash off that ring, and I would have a smooth glove instead of having like silver circles on it for no reason. But, you know, that's my unique perspective as a customizer. Your mileage may vary. The boots have all the details painted in. That little pink spot there, the rings. They probably could have put a second coat on the white part on top. It's getting a little oversaturated, but if you look at it with the naked eye, you can kind of see through it a little bit. Like, they just, like, sprayed it, and that was it. But they didn't paint up the hexagons on the soles of his feet. Like, I wouldn't really bring this up too often, like, at least they sculpted the details in. It's just that, like, over 10 years ago, when Jazzwares first made the silver figure, and that's a passing helicopter, they painted that detail on the soles of his shoes. But then later releases of the silver figure made by Jazzwares did not have that detail painted in. And now here we have a larger scaled figure, and it also doesn't have that detail painted in. I mean, I guess it does save quite a bit of budget, and like, he's standing on them, so how often are you going to see that? Unless you're going to like literally have him posed in a high kick, which not a lot of people really associate silver with kicking. Although we do associate silver with flying, so like, you know, like, this post-apocalyptic world, the ground is made out of lava. It burned off the painted details on the bottom of my shoes. But yeah, like, Silver is a character. Like, I do remember speaking to Ian Flynn on Silver, and he said that he really does love Silver as a character, and he's actually one of his favorites, which is why he's so disappointed in the performance of Sonic 2006, since that was Silver's big breakout game, and it's, you know, remembered so infamously. But, you know, Silver on his own is a really cool character. He has a nice design. Like, it's still clearly Hedgehog, but unique as a Hedgehog instead of just being a repaint of Sonic or something. And he does have a really, really good look. And as far as scaling goes, if you stand him, he actually is the same height as the other Hedgehogs for once. I remember, like, actually, he looks a little bit chubbier because he has a wider body. But then again, Shadow has that unique, that slim runner's physique, while Silver doesn't get all the exercise he needs because he levitates himself around all day. But yeah, like, I was gonna get at the fact that Silver is often shorter than everybody else because of the way his head goes. Like, He doesn't have like this big top spine that most hedgehogs have, so it makes his head look smaller and it makes him shorter as a result. But it looks like Jax Pacific was able to compensate, so he is actually a good height standing next to the other characters now. So yeah, this is awkward positioning of the arms aside. This is a really good, really good figure of Silver the Hedgehog. So I know Omega probably stole the show for this wave, but don't forget that this guy is totally there doing his thing. This is Wakeangel2K1 signing off.